And welcome into the Rob and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders. Joining me this evening from the upstate is my
Rob and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders.
as
Joining me
you
this
can hear
evening
myself
from
in
the
the
upstate
and,
is
Jackpot listens to the feed there. Anyway, welcome into the show. We're running a little bit late simply because uh, Windows 11 sucks and they change all the damn things. It's stupid. So yeah, there's that.
Don't let him lie to you. He's still working off dial up, and we didn't dial up.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right. Anyway, special guest coming up here shortly. As we roll along here this evening, it is Rivalry Week. We're going to pick some games, but we'll talk about our sponsors in a moment. Shout out to everyone that's watching over there, including Nathan Medlin, who says 9 p.m. my ass. He needs to be calm because I will call his wife.
Shout out to everyone over there in the YouTube comment section. Kirby's Visor, Roll Tide, Tiger Red Devil, Bulldog 7076, Rob D, Huffer Billy Paul, Joe D, Billy, Baylor Man, Leonard Sarasota, Big Barney Ross, Brock Lee, Senior Dog, Ray Bob, Tiger Red Devil, Bible Belt Beauties, Dwayne Wicker, Uncle Lou, Jay Shipes, Wet Blankets. Yeah. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Hope you got all your Christmas stuff. Jarzy Bear, Alex Stewart, TriStar, Todd Gwynn, Goose Sports. Hope that y'all got your shit to go for Thanksgiving because stores all fixing to close and that. Kentucky Durbin, good evening. Pack-a-lack. Nick Marshall's and Gamecocks in the house.
All right. Well, we're going to get after it here. Billy says he has COVID. Billy, get better. That's all I can say on that. If you got the COVID, it does suck. All right. Anyway, so we're going to get after it this evening. We're going to. Nathan wants to know if you're a fan again. Well, he's wearing an Oregon State hat, sir.
Yeah, I'm a football fan tonight, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always a football fan.
You're back in it. I mean, you're gonna be giving the Gamecocks your full throated endorsement this weekend, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. All right. Anyway, so with that, we'll go ahead and get started with our picks before our guest arrives here, and we're going to talk about our sponsors in a moment. We'll get to them momentarily. Let's take care of our picks first, Jackpot. First game we have on the list here is Washington and Washington State. Washington's a 2.5-point favorite. Which way you rolling there, buddy?
Before I get that one, Sir UGA, yes, the picks are due Saturday morning this week, just like normal. No, none of the Friday games are included in this. So we got Washington State and Washington Apple Cup, and that. Let's see, what was our line on that game? I'm sorry,
it's 2.5. 2.5. Towards Washington.
That's at Washington State. That's a 10:30 game. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna roll with Washington in that one. I think they've got a little bit more to play for there. They've looked good when I've watched them this year, so I'll roll with them. I know Washington State has been kind of a turd in the punch bowl for some good teams, but as far as covering numbers, not really as far as upsets. But yeah, I would roll with the Washington Huskies and Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, I like Penix Jr. too, and I'm going to take Washington. Tennessee at Vanderbilt. Tennessee is a 16.5-point favorite. I don't know why they're a 16.5-point favorite, Jackpot. Maybe you can help me with that. I mean, if you give up 63 points and Vanderbilt has more SEC wins than you do in November, how is Vanderbilt a 16.5-point dog? I don't get it.
I don't know, though. Doesn't make any sense. I heard through the grapevine that they plan on checkerboarding the stadium again. Yeah. So I think that I think they recover from that ass whipping. Believe it or not, I think he gets his team together. I think Joe Milton. When we've seen Joe Milton play this year, I mean, he hadn't played a lot, but he's played pretty good. He's improved a lot over what he did last year. I mean, he looked like absolute just sour ass in the couple of games that he started for him last year. So, Vanderbilt. It's been a cute little story. It's kind of something like Kansas, but I think that the Vols will roll in this game.
I don't trust Jeremy Pruitt, or I don't trust Jeremy Pruitt. I don't trust Josh Heupel. If you have a J in your name and you coach at Tennessee, I just don't trust. So with that, I do like what Clark Lee is doing. What's up, Ziggy? I do like what Clark Lee's doing there at Vanderbilt. He's actually trying to build a strong program and not running a gimmick bullshit offense. So I'm going to take the Tigers and get the 16 and a half. Another game with some playoff possibility things flying around it. Notre Dame at Southern Cal. Notre Dame is getting 6.5 points on the road.
Notre Dame's getting 6.5 at Southern Cal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't trust Southern Cal. I think running back that Travis Dye. I think he's still out. I think they exhausted a lot of energy there coming from behind. What's he barking at? Come in. I think they exhausted a lot of energy last week coming from behind against UCLA. This is a big rivalry spot. I like Notre Dame to cover the spread in this one. And it wouldn't shock me at all if they won.
I kind of feel the same way, but to quote someone else on YouTube, they ain't nobody played anybody. That's kind of how I feel about Southern Cal. They haven't really played anybody. I think Southern Cal may get their teeth kicked in this week. So give me Notre Dame. Bulldog 1776 with a super chat says, appreciate y'all's channel. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Next matchup is the Iron Bowl. Jackpot, we're going to sound like we're old with this, but do you remember when the Iron Bowl mattered? No, it doesn't really matter now. Auburn's a 21.
Yeah, I think the last time it mattered was like 2017.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's a 21.5 point dog in this game. You know, how was I listening to earlier? And they were talking about this could be the last time we see Bryce Young and Anderson and all those guys for Alabama because they're not going to play in the bowl game.
No.
So this could be the last time we see them, you know?
Yeah, it is. This one in Tuscaloosa, Cadillac Williams and his crew playing with house money. I don't trust them though. A patchwork coaching staff going up against Nick Saban. Give me Alabama, the Tide, to roll in this one. I think they win this game anywhere between 24 to 28 points.
Yeah, at home, I think they'll win big. I think the Iron Bowl is the Super Bowl for Young and all those guys. So I'll take Alabama minus 21.5. Up next is Oregon and Oregon State. Oregon is giving up 7 points, Jackpot. Which way you rolling in this game?
Yeah. Home game in Corvallis. I got to go with the Beeve. They're a perennial fly in the ointment. And that would not shock me at all either to see them knock Oregon off. They've been knocked down a peg or two as well anyway, I think. What are they even ranked in the top 15 anymore?
I think they're like, I can't remember. I got to look at the rankings, but the rankings don't really matter at this point. But, you know.
Yeah, I'm taking the Beeve. That wouldn't shock me either if they won that game either. They've really come along as a program the past couple of years.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Beavers here. I think that they've been a top 25 fringe top 25 team all year. They're just solid. They really are. I like their running back too. So I'm going to take Oregon State plus the 7. They may
Deshaun Fenwick, is that the one you're referring to?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
You know where he's built from. He's Will Muschamp built.
Yeah, well, if that case, I'm taking Oregon.
But
all right, Louisville versus Kentucky. Kentucky is giving up 4.5. In honor of Big Barney Ross, I don't think Kentucky's going to win this game, but I'm going to take Kentucky anyway. in honor of Big Barney Ross, because you can't pick anything with. I mean, a Louisville loss in his mind is a win for the country. So, in honor of my buddy over there, give me the Wildcats.
Um, do you know if Malik Cunningham came back? Did he come back for Louisville last week when they won
Uh,
against NC State?
I'd have to check and see, to be honest with you. The guy behind him is not that bad.
I don't know. It seems. Well, see, Clemson past 2 years they've benefited from Cunningham going out in both those games, especially last year. That guy, he blew his wheel out and ended up that far from beating them. Last year or last week or 2 weeks ago, it went out at halftime. So they've benefited from that. Shocked if they get some good luck to roll their way. Well, it's not really good luck, but you get what I'm saying. Will Levis's last game at home. I mean they, played Georgia pretty tough last week. They've kind of owned this rivalry of late. And a win for Kentucky would mean a 7-5 regular season instead of 6-6 is, it's a big deal kind of. So I'm going to roll with Mark Stoops and the boys to cover here and get a win in the Commonwealth Cup or whatever.
Michigan. This is called the game, by the way. Michigan at Ohio State. Michigan is getting 7.5 points. You know, the more and more I look at this game, Jackpot, the Michigan's built on their defense, right? And it's supposed to be kind of a rebuilding year for them. So, but when you look at who they played offensively, none of those teams are flying off the page as like, all right, this is a great offense. But Ohio State they're built with this great offense, but you look at the defenses that they played against, and they haven't been really, really good either. Both of them kind of played like they were looking ahead last week. So this game's been hard for me to figure out. But I think I'm going to take Ohio State at home, and I think they're going to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State as well because I don't know if Blake Corum is going to play at running back for Michigan. We don't know. That status is up in the air. So either he's going to play or he's not going to play. That makes a difference. But even if he is going to play, he's been injured, so I don't know that he's going to be as effective. So at home, Ohio State's defense has tightened up. I think Ohio State has a better quarterback play. I think they have better skill position players on the outside, and I think that's where the difference is going to be made. I think Michigan. I think Michigan has. I think Michigan might slightly have the edge defensively, but that home field advantage is what's going to get it over the top for me. So I'm going to go with. I'm going to roll with the old Buckeyes there.
All right, so we both like them. Next matchup is Georgia and Georgia Tech. Georgia is a 31.5-point favorite over their friends from Atlanta.
Yeah, well, we've seen Georgia this year. They have they've shown up and played pretty well in the important games that they've needed to show up and play really well in. In some of the Midland games against wet fart teams, they just play with their food and don't really win impressively. Georgia Tech's been looking better, so I'm not going to lay those points with the dogs. I'm going to take the Nerds to cover that.
Well, you mentioned playing with their food. Here's the thing. It's like Georgia could beat them by 60 points. They
Yep.
could if they really put their head to it and decided, hey, this is what we want to do. But in the end, I think that I just think that Kirby's going to get bored, and it's going to be like the Tennessee game where he's just like, we'll just run the ball. Just get the hell out of here. We don't really care about the season. That's just a shit ton of points. Not that Georgia couldn't cover it. I just wonder if they're going to. So I'm going to take Georgia Tech plus 31.5. Next matchup is Wake Forest at Duke. Wake Forest is a 3.5-point favorite. Which way you going there, Jackpot? Both teams are 7-3, I believe.
Yeah, I got to go with the team that and where's this game at?
It's at Duke.
Yeah, just by virtue of that, I'm going to go with Duke. I mean, Duke has looked better to me of late. I know Wake Forest got the win last week, but I mean the fruit is limited. They're got had some injuries, lost some vitamin C, and Duke looked pretty good, almost coming from behind to force overtime at Pitt. Would have given them their 8th win on the year. So going ahead and give me Mike Elko and the Duke Blue Devils to cover against Wake Forest.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I want to agree with you, but I still think Wake Forest is a better team. But the big thing with them is that Hartman turns the ball over. He really does a lot.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to go with Wake.
Duke likes to force turnovers. All you have to do is look at their game against Miami to tell you
Yeah,
that.
that's a good point, Jackpot. Still like Wake though. All right, next game is we're gonna do the Kale Hall shitter here. Old Dominion versus South Alabama. What the fuck? Old Dominion's getting 16.5.
Yeah, if you've looked at the scores and kind of followed ODU this year, they have kept it halfway close against some of the better teams in the Sun Belt. Knocked off Coastal Carolina. South Alabama, if they win, they could win. And if Troy loses and they win, they could make it to the Sun Belt West part of the Sun Belt Championship game. But I still like ODU to cover there on the road. Plus, they have a really cute puppy for a mascot. Well, I don't know if he's a puppy or so much of a puppy anymore. He was 3 months ago when they played Virginia Tech or Virginia.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with South Alabama. I don't know enough about Old Dominion to go with that one. So, all right. So we mentioned our special guest, and of course, the last game we're gonna pick is the Palmetto Bowl. And with that, let's see if this is gonna actually play here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, fresh out of the gulag, we welcome in the comrade, Mike Dabrowski. Mike, what's up, sir? How are you?
Hello, hello, hello. I was told the show needed a Gamecock fan since Cal went ahead and left the coop. So here I am. Here I am to support the Gamecocks in all their glory.
First of all, let's be honest here. Jackpot didn't really leave the coop. He was just pissed off for a little bit. Yeah, that's all.
Well, I mean, we all get that way. I understand. I got a kind of secondhand information, so secondhand story about Kale's a video there. But everything is fine now.
Exactly.
Everything is good.
All right. Well, before we pick the Palmetto Bowl, we want to thank our sponsors really quick here. Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia, Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. If you want to go and watch the game with a shit ton of South Carolina fans, and there's Clemson fans there as well, go by and check them out. They're gonna be open. If you're a true drunk, you can go by tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. Have a drink with my friend Jules. She'll be there by herself for the majority of the day.
Good
But you
Lord.
go and hang out. Hey, just being honest. Anyway, Callaway's Bar and Grill, Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. And finally, Dennis Wilson from DNC Trucking and Transport, who's set to remind our good friend, the comrade here, that in the history of this show, which the comrade and I started this show a long time ago, South Carolina has never beaten Clemson in football.
Is that the mayor of Gaston? He's the mayor of Gaston, correct?
He is the mayor of Gaston, but he wants to remind you that you support a shit program and you run around yelling "Go Cox" a lot, but in reality, you're just a shithole. He told me to make sure I reminded you of that. And then the stuff we've got here with our good buddy Carolina Jackpot. Jackpot, tell us a story, sir.
Okay. Let's see. It sucks to be a Gamecock. We're still feeling our oats and thumping our chests over our big 25-point win over an overrated Tennessee team. Unfortunately for us, reality is going to come knocking at our door like an Amazon delivery man at high noon on Saturday. We'll be lucky to score 7 points, and we'll be lucky to hold my hero and my favorite Clemson Tiger, Will Shipley, under 200 yards on the ground. It always, as always, it sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That is just outstanding. And all of that is just
Thank
absolute fact there. But I wanted to bring the comrade in this evening to talk a little bit about, thought we'd go back and forth a little bit on this and maybe some Gamecock and Clemson memories if we had some of those. But we have to pick the game first. Jackpot, what's your rundown on this matchup? And then we'll get our guest.
Okay, so our line over here is a 13.5 point line. Is that correct?
Yes, 13.5.
Okay, well, let me break that one down. Well, I'm going to go on ahead and take the Gamecocks to cover that. I think this has got to be, this is sort of a pivotal game for Shane Beamer in his young career here at South Carolina. It's very similar to last year's matchup. But I think South Carolina has a lot more talent receiving wise. They got a lot more talent on the outside than they did last year. I also think they have more talent at the quarterback position, obviously, than last year. The Marshawn Lloyd, Christian Beal Smith injury thing, I don't know how that's going to play out. And frankly, I'm not worried about it after what we saw last week. Now, I don't know if that type of offense is going to be as effective against that Tater front seven. Probably not. Probably going to have to mix it up a little bit more. I think South Carolina needs to strike early. South Carolina needs to strike fast and get on top and make Clemson play from behind, which they're not used to doing. They need to get some pressure. Got to get some pressure from that defensive line on the ukulele, because we know if the ukulele starts getting pressure, he's going to make some mistakes, and that's where South Carolina's going to have at least 3 to 4 turnovers, and they're going to have to capitalize off of it. But I think it can be done. It's all going to come down to the line of scrimmage play. Which we've been dominated on the line of scrimmage by this team ever since we started this big losing streak. So we'll see. We'll see if we can muster up enough there on that side of the ball. But I like what I saw last week, and I think it's going to carry forward. Plus, Spencer Rattler was just in a zone. He was in a zone. I'm not quite sure that he cut it off. I don't know that he can cut it off. I don't know if he can cut it off. If he can't cut that off, man, the world of college football and possibly the NFL could be in trouble.
All right. Well, I know that the comrade is going to have his pick, and so he's got to fire up his computer.
Fire it up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right,
Let me tell you right now. I did a deep dive, stat wise on this.
Deep analysis.
And so, first of all, I would look at common opponents.
This is why
there are no common opponents. Okay, there are no common opponents. So what we can look at next, they have both played teams currently in the top 15. So I went through and researched this, and the Gamecocks are undefeated against teams currently in the top 15 with an average margin of victory of 25 points. What's more is the Gamecocks average 606 yards of offense against teams currently in the top 15. Now, Clemson, on the other hand, has not beaten the team currently in the top 15, and their offense is only averaging 281 yards. You have to ask yourself, why aren't we favored? The line stinks to me. It stinks. It's like They want you to take, I don't know. It's weird. Now, that being said, I want to go back a little bit. And this is going to confuse the hell out of 90% of the Clemson fans in here. Because 90% of the Clemson fans in here were a fan in 2014. So back in 2003, let's go to 2003. Okay?
Sir, hold on. Sir, respectfully, can you address Harry Legg's comment? Because you seem to forget you played Georgia and got your dick handed to you. You didn't put 600 yards up on the Georgia Bulldogs.
You know what? I'm talking about more games after October 1st, I believe. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Filtered that out of the computer. My bad. I thought there was a given. We don't count games in September because things change too much. Things change too much. We don't count that. And plus, Will Muschamp's there. He knows our whole team. It's not fair. So anyway, going back to 03 real quick. In 2000, who was the coach of the Clemson Tigers in 03? Who knows? Who knows?
In 2003?
Mm-hmm. Who knows?
I mean, it was either Tommy Bowden or Tommy West.
It was Tommy Bowden. Okay, now Tommy Bowden is known for having a great father as a head coach. Hello, Shane Beamer, Frank Beamer. We see a tie right there, right? The 03 Clemson Tigers also got destroyed by Georgia. And as we have pointed out here, as Austin Paul and everyone pointed out, we got destroyed by Georgia as well. Similar things. Also, Clemson came into the rivalry game against the Gamecocks with 7 wins. 7 wins. Gamecocks come in this rivalry game, 7 wins as well. Also, the Clemson Tigers in November inexplicably beat Florida State, a number 3 team in the country, destroyed them 26-10 in November. Following getting their ass beat by a horrible team in Wake Forest, 45-17. Gamecocks lose to a horrible Florida team, and then pound number 5 Tennessee. So everything is setting up right now that we are the 03 Clemson Tigers. And so I don't see how we're on the road, like Clemson on the road in this rivalry. Everything is similar. And so now listen, Clemson fans are all wondering what happened in that game because they probably don't know. I mean, like 3 people know what happened in that game. As we all know, as some of us know, the Clemson Tigers beat the Gamecocks that night 63-17.
9 touchdowns.
9 touchdowns. Ran with the fireworks. No, that was us. So I just feel there's too much correlation there. And then throw in the fact that 30 years ago this week, I was a young high school senior in upstate New York. And I was starting to kind of take an interest in the Gamecocks as my school. And the Clemson Carolina game was on some TV station. And I don't know how we got it. It might have been God who put it on for me to let me know this is where you're supposed to go. It was on. It was a rainy day in Death Valley. It was a noon game, I believe. And this quarterback named Steve Tannehill, with signature win, took down the Clemson Tigers in Death Valley. Home run swing, all the scenes we see. I just think there's too much going on here. There's too much that screams to me that the Gamecocks. Yeah, Beth Webb loved that game. She also is a Georgia fan. I think she's, an FSU fan and an Oregon fan too, Beth Webb. So I like how that's going. The one thing that worries me is we're not ranked. And I'll tell you why. Historically speaking, when we're ranked, we destroy Clemson in these games. I was really hoping the committee would do us a favor and get us at 25 because I think we only lost one time. Correct me if I'm wrong. One time to Clemson when we're ranked in this game.
Hold on. The last time you were ranked against Clemson, you got.
That's true. That's the only time. I think Spurrier lost one time too to Tommy Bowden. Might have been. But we're like 6-2. Now listen. I think we're 6-2 all time when we're ranked. That concerns me. Now in terms of actual football stuff, as Kale said, I watch it. Listen, I'm not going to destroy this tape when we're done, okay? Because I like to say in the group that I never watched Clemson play, okay? But I do. I mean, I'll be honest with you, okay? I watch Clemson games as much as I can because I like rooting against these assholes. And I watch them play. And in the past, when I've watched them, Usually I sit there and say, damn it, we're going to get our asses pushed in. This year, Clemson hasn't impressed me. I mean, they you know, now I think they're better than we are. I think if you A game versus A game, I think they're better. But, you know, they haven't impressed me. I don't see them as being invincible. Now, for the Gamecocks to win, you know, in the past on this show, okay, when I was on this show in the past, the gap was so large. I had to make up scenarios, okay? I mean, and I don't see a huge makeup scenario to win the game. Now, the only thing here's the other thing too, okay? The Gamecocks have no pressure, okay? To quote the great
House
Bill Murray
money.
and Kingpin, we are riding on a gravy train with biscuit wheels right now. Okay, we're going to a bowl game. We're going to the Gator Bowl regardless, I think. Okay. There is no pressure on us right now. It's a successful season for Shane Beamer in year 2. Okay. Everything's fine except for the OC issue, you know, we'll deal with. Okay. Everything's fine. For Clemson, you barely beat Wake Forest. You're now number 9 in the country. You're started off number 4 in the country. You're in the outside looking into the playoff. You have a shot at the playoff still. If you were to lose this game, I mean, it's all the pressure right now under your season. So the Gamecocks, I'll only be mad if this happens. If the Gamecocks go out there and just lay their ass down, I'll be pissed. What I want to see them to do is go out there early on and play Clemson tough, and I want them to turn the fans against Clemson. Okay? I want them to shut the run down, make DJ make some mistakes, and have the crowd start to murmur, have the crowd want Cade. I want to have that friction, you know?
Oh, gosh.
Like the DeSantis versus Trump people, you know? That friction in the crowd, you know? If they're friends, but they're enemies, you know? I want to have that friction in there. And they put Cade in, and he throws a pick, and the other side said, I told you. And they're fighting among themselves. That's what I want. I want to get that tension in the crowd. If we can just get that, we still may not win, but I want that. What I'm worried about is we go in there and get down 24-0 before anything happens, and they're all having a little joy fest, and isn't that great? We need to make them just the anger there. I think we can do that, okay? Other thing is this, Will Shipley, great running back. We're having a hard time stopping him, but here's the thing. Will Shipley fumbles the ball like crazy. And so what we got to do is we got to hit him, have one guy hit him, and one guy be there to get the ball. Because I never see a team in my life fumble the ball so goddamn much and your guy falls on it. We have to have a fumble recovery guy ready. One guy hit him, one guy get the fumble. If we can get Will Shipley to give up 2 fumbles to win this game, and I think we're going to do that.
Will Shipley is Adam Humphries 2.0.
Well, I think he may. I think he might, you know, and that's the thing. On the treadmill, no one gets hit in the treadmill. And that's the thing, okay? So he rides that treadmill, he goes hard, you know, and we need to hit him and get the ball, scoop and score, put DJ in situations where he has to think, okay, where he has to kind of wonder about his confidence and get that way right here. So I think there's a chance. I think we can win. Unlike most years when I came in here and pretend like we can win, I think we'll win. I don't think we need to play like lights out to win either. We can't play bad, but lights out. I think we can win. So here's my prediction. I got the Gamecocks 28-27. I'm going to call it a Jad Dean special. I think your kicker missed the 34-yard field goal at the buzzer, and the death threats, commence.
Oh, no, not BT Potter.
Yeah, there's a BT Potter. That's the kicker. Yes, I'm going to
go. BT Potter's 30 years old.
I'm thinking, BT Potter gets death threats for the rest of his life, like Jad Dean. Sad for him. I will wish him well. But I think 28-27, 34-yard shank field goal attempt in the rain with 1 second left. And Will Shipley, 2 fumbles. DJ, 7 for 19. Cade club pick comes in, goes 2 for 3 with a big pick.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, that he doesn't miss often, but it's possible. I mean, that guy I call Fat Elvis for Mizzou, he missed like a 19-yarder against Auburn, and he's pretty automatic.
Well, I want to throw some holes into what the comrade said. First of all,
there are no holes.
There are definitely
no holes.
First of all, Will Shipley in his college career has played almost 2 seasons. He's fumbled the ball twice. There's that. I mean,
lost fumbles or fumbles?
Lost fumbles. He has two.
Yeah, I know that. You recover all this shit. I'm saying we're going to recover him this time. He lays the ball on the ground like nonstop.
Well, see, I figured your happy ass would say that. So total fumbles, he has 3.
Like in the last 2 weeks, though.
He's
coughing the ball up twice. Mark it down. He's coughing the ball up twice.
3 fumbles in his entire career. And he's been a back that's getting like 20 carries a game, but none of that.
Well, Kyle Parker didn't throw a whole lot of interceptions at Clemson either, but he threw like 3 against the Gamecocks one night. Got so upset that he quit the team.
He did. Wanted to play baseball.
Remember that? He quit the team. Right there on the sideline. Dabo was just like, get the fuck out of here. And he quit. And then Tasha Boyd came in. The rest was history.
Colby says, Conrad looks like if Jackpot and Rob had a baby and he grew up to be average YouTubers like his parents.
I don't even know what that means.
That's funny. Anyway. All right. Well, look, here's the difference. And I know that there are a lot of Gamecock fans thinking, you know what? We played well against Tennessee. And, I'm not taking anything away from you. You went out there and played out of your mind. A couple of things that are different, though, in this game. The Tennessee defensive line compared to the Clemson defensive line, just not even close. It's not even remotely close. All right? So with that, Rattler had all day to throw against Tennessee, which is why he was able to throw darts like he did. It's not going to have that luxury against Clemson. And simply because of the defensive line play and the fact that knowing that Uiagalelei doesn't have to play a great game to beat you. Didn't throw for 100 yards last year. They won by 30. If he throws for 250, Clemson may win by 60. Who knows at this point? I can tell you with Shipley back there running the ball and the rest of the Clemson running backs, Kobe Pace may score a touchdown tomorrow. Dabo Swinney may have them throwing passes to his second son that's on the team when they're running it up in the fourth quarter. Clemson's going to be big. It's going to be like 41-17. It's not even going to be remotely close. So there's that.
You people, you think we got one over here in the comment section, this BGPO football funk. Shout out to you, BGPO football funk, for showing up. I haven't seen you in years, it doesn't seem like. It says Clemson will win by 40. I don't even know that Clemson can score 40.
Hey, I don't think it can score 40.
I really don't. And to that point too, with Will Shipley, after last year, there's no way that they are not going to key on that guy. They're going to do whatever is necessary, I feel like, to shut that guy down. Rarely do you see anywhere someone have a big day like that 2 years in a row in a rivalry game. You just don't see it much.
In 4 of the 11 games Clemson's played this year, they've scored 40 or more points, but none of that matters either, right? Those facts.
How many of them?
4 of the 11.
Okay, that's less than 50%.
They need an overtime for one of them.
The reason I was about to say the reason for one of them is because the other teams kept scoring so much, you had to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But please continue.
The idea that they can't score 40 points is just.
And the other one was the other one against Furman and Lala.
They got 41 against Georgia Tech, 48 against Louisiana Tech, 51 against Wake Forest, and 40 against Miami.
Well, that's just a murderer's row. They should just put this team in the College Football Hall of Fame, but give it its own little section.
See, the thing with you two, though, is that Clemson could have played the 85 Bears and 12 times, and the first words out of your mouth would be, they didn't play anybody. The same bullshit.
You haven't played anybody, let's be honest. Listen, Notre Dame rushed, as a commenter said earlier, Notre Dame rushed for 200 yards against you guys. So, now granted, Notre Dame but
Notre Dame with two average Kmart running backs I've never heard of.
We need Lloyd to play. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he's. He says he's going to try, but we're going to need that. But I think DK Joyner may have a big day. We're going to need him, especially if Lloyd doesn't play. We're going to need DK run a little wildcat and find the ways. We need to run the ball. because part of protecting Rattler, the reason why he protected Rattler so well against Tennessee was because he ran the ball well too. I mean, it's not rocket science. You run the ball well, it's tougher to rush the passer. So that's part of it too.
I can see for some reason I see South Carolina. For some reason, I see us going up 8-0 in this game. I see us scoring a touchdown.
I could see Beamer doing that.
Lead first, and I see Beamer letting Tonka Hemingway catch the 2-point conversion. I either see some kind of special teams play with another blocked punt or something special teams, a fake field goal, something like that. Maybe something akin to my favorite play from all time in a Carolina Clemson game, and Comrade will remember this one. I'm running this one way back. I think it was 1994 when the Gamecocks opened up the second half with a lateral from who's that?
I believe Reggie Richardson.
Reggie Richardson was the one. Brandon Bennett threw the.
I think it was Brandon. I'm not positive on that.
Yeah,
but Reggie Richardson caught number 20.
Brandon Bennett fielded the second half kickoff, threw the lateral all the way across the field to Reggie Richardson. I think it skipped to him actually, and he just streaked down the sideline and he ran over one of our own players. I can't remember who that was. He tackled him in essence at like the 2-yard line. So,
I'll tell you this: the '94, both teams stunk that year. I mean, and most of the '90s that happened too. The best game ever.
No, we made a bowl. That was the year South Carolina.
Was that the bowl? Yeah, they can be still in terms of
defensively
them to lately though. They still kind of stunk. The '96 game, both teams stunk, and that was the best game I've ever seen in person.
Was that the one game where South Carolina got up when we got up like 28-0?
Got up by, and I was in the stands for this one. That's a game that Deuce, I think Deuce had a big day.
Or was it Troy? Was Troy Hambrick the one?
It was a Hambrick, but they're up big, and Clemson was coming back. And I'm with a buddy of mine who's been a Gamecock fan his whole life since birth. And as Clemson's driving down the field to come take the lead, he goes, "Let's just leave." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've seen this before. I know what's going to happen. Let's just go." I go, "We're not fucking going." I said, and they came down. I think it was Kneeline Green. Was it Kneeline Green?
Yeah.
I think we're sitting in the opposite end zone, and Kneeline Green drops back, and I see this receiver wide open, like break open the end zone. I went, "Shit!" And he kind of short arms the ball and skips it to him. I go, "Thank God they don't have a quarterback." And then the kicker missed the field goal.
Yeah, that was Matt Paget, I think.
Matt Paget. He got probably death threats too. That was a great game.
I'm sure.
It was a great game because we got up big, and then the Clemson fans were leaving, and you guys talk about Gamecock fans leaving. Clemson fans were leaving that game, and then they started coming back a little bit. And you kind of felt the whole momentum change, and both teams stunk like shit. Okay, but it was like a really good game. Like it was two, midgets swinging on each other. And it was good times.
That was, and that was 96. And I actually went with a friend of mine that year in the postseason. I went with him to the Peach Bowl that Clemson played against LSU. The LSU won 10-7. The most exciting thing about that game was the fight that all the LSU people got into with each other in the end zone section where they were sitting because they were so drunk. Mm-hmm. I think they don't even know what planet they were on. It was pretty rough.
That was my 4 years in school, and so in my 4 years in school, we went 2-0 in Death Valley, but 0-2 at home. So these alternated games, but it was the opposite. So it was a weird kind of time in the rivalry. So when both teams just stunk in the '90s, at least in the mid '90s.
I remember Joe Morrison kind of owning Death Valley as well. Went in there, he won in 1984, and then in 1986 he brought a team in there that was I think 3-6-1 against a Tater team that I believe was either 10-1 or 9-1, 8-2, something like that, and he tied them.
Yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, let's take some calls before we get out of here. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. There we go. And there you go. You guys can call into the program. Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, I got to play this voicemail. Hold on. We'll play this first.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Um, the reason I was going ahead and giving you a call is because it's 9:08, and the show hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Um, uh, so I was going to ask you in the comments how many times I was allowed to call in today for the show, but since the show hasn't started, I wasn't able to ask you that. So I was calling to leave a voicemail to ask you that. And also from now on, when you're creating the live stream, can you put the time that the show is actually going to start? For example, if it's not going to start till like 9:15, can you put 9:15 instead of 9?
Good point.
I was studying the map of the Chesapeake Bay, and I purposely stopped at 9 to come to your show, and now I got to get myself all worked back up again to go back to studying the map because the show hasn't started. But mostly, just how many times can I call in? Thank you.
Yeah. There's the voicemail feature is really taking it off here. So thanks to Uncle Lou.
That is a game changer.
One more voicemail here. This came in Sunday night late.
Hey, Rob, just thought it was really funny. A couple of callers ago, the Tennessee fans started talking about somebody else sucking dick. And it's really funny and ironic because last night, Tennessee got one shoved down their throat 9 times at Williams-Brice Stadium.
Good point there, sir. One more. This is from Sunday, late night Sunday, too.
Hey, Jackpot. Just wondering how you're going to.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. There. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there we go.
Hey, Jackpot. Just wondering how you're going to feel about getting your ass kicked this week.
I mean, thanks for that, caller.
Thank you.
And then someone just, this one just says, hey, yo. I guess they think they're Razor Ramon. All right. We'll take calls 803-470-2905. You can get into the thing here. Dina, by the way, says you're her favorite Russian, sir.
I'm the only Russian she knows. The only one.
The only one she knows. All right, here we go. Welcome into the program. Good evening.
What's up, fellas? It's Baylor Man checking in. How y'all doing this week?
All right, Baylor Man.
Baylor Man. What's up?
Yeah, buddy.
Well, plenty's up after the debacle that happened Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, well. I mean, they got you, man. That happens.
It does, and also, the football flew close to my head, when that kick was made. So
he's trying to give you a souvenir.
Were you wearing a TCU shirt? Because all I saw were TCU fans.
I was surrounded by TCU fans, but absolutely not. I was actually offered a TCU sign at game day, not game day, but Big Noon Saturday. The producers were like, "Hey, you want to sign?" Like, I was like, I told them that I don't need toilet paper at this moment.
Was it purple?
But oh yeah, it was purple with the outline of Texas and said TCU on it.
What are their fans like? I mean, what's that fan base like? I don't think I've ever met nor seen. Well, I guess I have seen because I watched some of their games. I play a TCU fan. What kind of people would they be?
Mouthy.
Really? Are they delusional?
No, that's Texas. No, they're just mouthy. They can be arrogant at times. They cry a lot if they lose.
Oh, it sounds like Tennessee.
Almost like Tennessee.
Huh.
I'm still laughing at Jay's comment got me crying.
Yeah. Well, Baylor, man, we appreciate you calling, man. We got tons of calls to get to, buddy. You want to do a prediction for your game this week?
Well, I was going to ask the comrade to do that on his computer.
No, we don't have time for that to fire up.
Yeah, that's going to take a while to fire that up. I don't even have my microphone.
He might be able to predict next year's game for you.
There you go.
Well, that's possible, but I guess I'll go ahead and predict it. Since our offensive coordinator is still on staff, I think Texas will win and cover.
Well, hopefully they don't, because I don't like Texas. But anyway, Baylor, man, thanks for calling the show, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. All right, 803-470-2905. As that was different. We got all about the Baylor and Texas and TCU. Oh, all right then. Kirby's Visors comments great. Let's go to this call. Welcome to the program. Good evening. Hello.
How you doing, guys? Me, Justin. How y'all doing?
Hey, Justin.
Good.
How you doing?
Good. Buddy.
Good.
Hey, I saw about the soccer Chris Rivalry game. If our offense can play good, we can throw Chris off goal. Defense, but it's going to take a lot of work to beat these guys. You know.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. Clemson's really strong.
Yep.
Yeah. We just got to take care of the football, so we won't make too many mistakes. You know.
If Carolina wins, I'll be happy for 2.5 people. You, Carolina Jackpot, and Mike Music Callaways.
And wait, you happen for me? Not for me?
Fuck you. You don't
What happen for me? I'm offended by that.
I don't care. I'm not gonna be happy for you at all. Yeah. So anyway, but hey,
well, there's something to that when South Carolina takes care of the football.
Hey, can I tell y'all something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
My prediction for the soccer Cliska, I got soccer 28, Cliska 27.
That's what the comrade had. You just stole the comrade's pick.
Great minds think alike, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it, buddy. All right, man.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
You too.
Bye, buddy.
Yep.
Justin loves this show, man. I can't believe he picked the same thing you did.
Great minds think alike. What can you say?
803-470-2905. Ooh, here's a call. Welcome to the program. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, what's up?
All right, so I want to get y'all's prediction on the Ohio State-Michigan game.
Well, Jackpot and I picked earlier. We both picked Ohio State to cover.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have picked Michigan to cover, maybe not to win, if I knew that Blake Corum was healthy and playing, but I don't know. So,
yep. Well, what happens if Michigan wins? What does that do to the playoffs? Where does that put the rest of everybody else, especially like USC and Clemson if they win the conference championship?
Clemson needs Ohio State to win. Clemson needs Ohio State to win for sure. Michigan winning is not a good thing for Clemson.
No.
Just because Michigan's schedule is horrible, Ohio State's got a little better schedule. And I think they're just thought of better.
But yeah,
so if you're a Tater, I would pull for Ohio State to blow the hell out of Michigan.
Ohio State's got that win over Notre Dame.
Would play who in the conference championship?
They got to play.
That's just garbage, by the way. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's dumb when they do that stuff. They got to play. They're still doing divisions, right? The Big Ten still doing divisions. I can't keep up with divisions.
Yeah,
I have to look at the Big Ten.
Yeah, they're in the East.
Yeah, so the winner of that matchup will go on to the.
We're probably going to play Purdue.
Yeah, I think it's Purdue. I went blank.
Iowa and Purdue both sit at 5-3 in that division. Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin are all 4-4. So it's basically a shit show. No one really knows.
Shit. Well, damn. That's all I wanted.
That's bad because Illinois dominated the teams in the West. but the teams in the East they've done dick against.
Well, Jackpot's other team he likes that's not Oregon State or Mizzou. By the way, catch Jackpot streaming the Mizzou game on Friday. Is Penn State, and their only 2 losses on the season are to Michigan State or Michigan and Ohio State. So they're better than everybody in the West. There's that. J Rock says, I want to see all these Clemson fans come back on here if they lose. Brother, I'm gonna be here. Clemson loses by 70. I'll still
Not
be
going
here.
to see it.
You don't think I'm gonna be
No,
here?
I mean I'm not talking about you, jackass. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about in general, though. Listen, I'm in a little Facebook group, a little trash talk group, and I can tell you right now, if the Gamecocks pull this one off, you're like people are gonna get real busy with their families.
We got a family to
stuff
run.
going on.
I had another kid all of a sudden. I didn't know was coming.
Moving business.
Yeah,
granddad's sick. My granddad, I got to take care of my granddad.
My grandma died for the 3rd time.
Life, you know how life is. Got a new job promotion. I got to make that money. You know how it is.
I'm getting more involved in the church.
You know?
All right, caller, welcome to the program.
What is up, Rob? This is Nathan.
Hi, Nathan. How are
you? Just living the dream. You know, it's one of those deals. It's like the holiday weekends and like.
Wait. This is Nathan Medlin?
Yeah, this is Nathan.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's one of those deals where it's like, I'm prepping for the holiday travels and stuff, and it's like I told Blake, I was like, your parents' divorce is like tougher on me than it is you, even though it's your fault.
But isn't this your first year being married, like during the holidays, though?
Yeah, but I've been dealing with it for like 5 years, so it's like I'm prepping to travel to shithole Columbia tomorrow.
Right.
God's country.
No fault of my own. No fault of my own. Just because your parents got divorced and
I'm jealous.
Columbia.
But Nathan, just be honest. In addition to being one of the sweetest women on the planet, you outkicked your coverage with Blake. The fact that she goes out in public with you should be.
Let's make it clear. Blake is female. I know a few Clemson fans are getting mad thinking that Nathan has a partner. Blake is female. So all you Clemson fans out here ready to throw the Bible at him, it's okay.
Oh, she's a 10, but I'm a trophy husband. Like y'all got that misconstrued.
Yeah.
I'm a trophy husband.
We don't need to get into all that, but I'm just saying, I think you should just shut the hell up, go to Thanksgiving, and then go from there. You got to keep your wife happy.
I'm going to Florence tomorrow. So I'm going to Florence SC.
All right, so are you going to pick the game here or what, man?
Yeah, I mean, here's my prediction. If Clemson can eliminate the pop plays, which we've only seen for 1 week out of the year, like we're dealing with data outliers versus the real deal South Carolina. Clemson's going to win about 34-10 on Saturday.
Not exactly an outlier. I mean, we saw that in Nashville a couple of weeks ago as well. Dominating performance by the offense.
Wait. I'm trying to hear from Mike because he's a fan. He didn't turn his fan card in.
I didn't turn mine in either.
I need you to sit in the corner for a second. We need to hear from Mike first because I know he's a Lions man. And
listen, Nathan. To be honest with you right now, typically, okay. One of my betting strategies, but sometimes it doesn't work out. When a team wins a big home game at night, look this up now. Okay, a big home game at night, and then plays the next week at noon, they tend not to cover. A good example of that was UConn this past week.
Because you're a public darling.
Yeah. So the UConn this past week was getting 10, and I bet against them, and they got rolled up because what happens? You celebrate a little bit too much. Now the difference is in this one, this is a big rivalry game. It's a little bit different. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. But normally, in one of my systems of betting, this would fall under a system where you take Clemson to cover, but the rivalry game thrown in there, I'm trying to tell myself no.
Vegas doesn't keep the lights on by losing. Y'all are Publix darlings. Clemson's going to rush for 350 plus on Saturday.
No.
Y'all are. I mean, Kel Hall's going to be slanted as shit. And I mean, shit. Like, I'm just going to be posting selfies and posting facts like all week long, like I have been. You know, like Blockbuster and Sammy Sosa being black the last time that Clemson, you know, lost to South Carolina. This is what we're dealing with, and y'all are going to deal with it, you know, on Sunday of this week.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing I'm going to bring up right now. If we lose, I mean, it's going to be okay. We're kind of used to losing. It's not like, hey, you know, it will suck for about an hour, and we'll get over it. But if Clemson loses, I mean, it's devastating. The streak ends.
Oh, it's going to be terrible.
Like, it's much worse for you guys to lose than it's for us.
I agree with you. But the problem is they're not losing. They're going to rush for 350 plus, or I'll say 300 plus.
I'm just saying, if they lose, it ruins at least 3 months of your life coming up. It does. At least 3 months.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
If the Gamecocks lose, it's going to make my...
be living under a bridge.
Yeah.
Like I can't handle losing to shit teams like South Carolina.
If the Gamecocks lose, it's going to suck for me all day Saturday. It will suck me probably Sunday. I have to go into the damn fucking room we're in Facebook and hear the same old shit. I'll probably see 4 new Clemson fans in there like, hey, man, hey, you know. But by Monday, I'll be fine. Okay? If Clemson loses, I'm going to post a damn score every damn day for the next year. Every day. I'm going to have, I'm going to get shirts made. I'm going to, have my every damn day. Now, the problem with that is people will come down and fight me and want to hurt me and, you know, threaten to kill me like they did in the past during the 5-game winning streak. And that's okay. But that's the difference.
Well, I'm definitely going to have your job. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals. Like, I'm definitely going to the school district if Clemson loses. Like, don't get that twisted.
That's why I have fake accounts, so nothing can be proved.
Nathan,
yeah, but I know you too well. That's the problem. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to beat your ass on the newly minted basketball court you put in. Then I'm going to take
come shoot. You got to come to the house and shoot. Get out there right now.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Nathan. We'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah, it's good hearing from you guys. I hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving as well.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, buddy. All right, there you go. Oh, man. Let's go back out of the phone. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
See you later, buddy. Yeah, it's good hearing from you guys. I hope y'all have a good
Turn down your monitor. What you got, man? Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Holy crap. Watch this. They're on the delay. They're going to say hello in a second. Holy shit. All right, caller. Bye.
That was a Clemson fan. That right there was a Clemson fan. I guarantee you that was a Clemson fan. That is not a Gamecock fan.
Shit. Welcome to the program. Good evening. Hello.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hello.
Good.
Hey, good. Y'all have some exciting Thanksgiving plans? That's just a yes or no question. I wasn't not looking for no detailed answer. Just a yes or no.
No.
Okay. You know, Dean Legge won't invite me over for leftovers on Saturday. But I was wondering next year if I mounted some sort of pressure campaign on one of you two to invite me over for Thanksgiving leftovers. If you think that would be a successful campaign.
Well, I mean, I mean, are you wanting Thanksgiving leftovers? Is that what you're implying here, sir?
No, he was.
Dean Legge won't invite me over for Thanksgiving leftovers, so I've wasted my time for this year. I figured it's too late to pressure y'all now, but maybe if I start like next Halloween, I'm wondering what do y'all think my chances would be of pressuring one of you two into inviting me over on Saturday to watch college football and eat Thanksgiving leftovers?
I'm saying it would be great. So he offered. The backstory is he offered his services up to Dean Legge of Dog Post, which runs a YouTube channel, to help him with his production quality, because the content on the show is great, but the production quality, even by YouTube standards, is really outdated and behind the times. And
Yeah.
all Lou wanted in return was 2 sandwiches made from leftover turkey and some stuffing.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I would do the same for y'all as well. I would offer y'all that same deal next year.
So you want to help us improve the production of the show? Is that where you're going?
Or whatever you need, as far as that goes.
Well, I mean, Jackpot
We need,
might
like, we need, well,
feed
we need to
Ziggy
get
some dog
Jackpot a
biscuits.
microphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I would do that for 2 turkey sandwiches and some leftover. Now, the turkey's got to be from the Thanksgiving turkey, not deli turkey from whatever grocery store he worked at last week. It's got to be from the turkey he cooked on Thanksgiving. That's the best leftover turkey sandwiches. And then it's got to either be stuffing or dressing, or if you're not having that, green bean casserole would be acceptable. And then I'll come over to Jackpot's house, hook him up with a microphone, have a talk with his old lady about not interfering when he's working, stuff like that.
Holy shit!
Great.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
you're gonna get Jackpot hammered. I mean, the wife's gonna be upset with him. I'm serious. Can't say.
Hey, I saw when you called her over there. I hope she knows I'm just kidding around.
No, she doesn't.
Jackpot.
No, she doesn't.
Lou, that's what she's saying.
No, I don't want her to be
I don't
mad.
know. She still looks
gonna
pretty
beat your
angry. I haven't touched. I haven't tried to, make hay right now.
Yeah, don't tell her not to be mad at me, because I really want those turkey sandwiches next year.
She looks pissed. I don't know if it's still at me, or I don't know if the dog did something.
You didn't pee in the house, did you?
No comment.
Okay. Hey, y'all enjoy your Thanksgiving for real.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
Loon in Sarasota says Crockpot ate so much at the Shady Maple, several of the Amish used profanity for the first time.
That's a throwback to a Jackpot video. That's funny.
Yeah, the thing about it is the Amish didn't work there, though. It was just normal people.
Let's see here. Welcome to the program. Good evening. Hello.
How y'all doing?
Hi.
Good.
Hey, I actually tried to reach out to you guys, and I dropped the call earlier. Looked like Comrade had said earlier that sounded like it was a Clemson fan. It was actually a Carolina Gamecock fan that was calling.
Jesus Christ! Don't admit that. Jesus!
You fucking Gamecock fans are just
You don't
even help it.
You can't be that honest, for crying out loud. Don't admit it was you.
So,
or pretend you're a Clemson fan.
So, let me ask you guys something. So, nobody is giving Carolina a chance in this game.
What the hell was that?
Surprising. I feel like, Carolina's got a chance in this game. I mean, I feel like if they can stop Will Shipley, they've got all the opportunities in the world to win this game. I mean, would you,
let me be clear.
as a Clemson fan, not say that that's even possible?
As a Gamecock fan, they're not going to stop Will Shipley, okay? Which you have to hope they have to contain him, okay? They just have to make sure he doesn't go off. And they have to stop him enough that they put DJ in some situations. And, I mean, I wasn't joking about this before. Will Shipley can fumble the ball. I know Rob, like, oh, he can fumble the ball. He runs violently. He's a violent runner. Violent runners, when they get stuck, the ball comes out. And once you fumble one time in the game, right, it gets in your head. And the next time you run the ball, you don't run quite as violently. They need to stick him and need to recover the damn ball too. That thing that's going to make me mad is when he does fumble it twice, that Clemson jumps on the ball. Okay, so we're not going to stop him. He's probably going to run. He's going to have a pretty decent day yardage wise. We just have to find a way to contain him and find a way to have Clemson kick field goals. Okay, the idea that the Gamecocks can shut them down is not going to happen. Hold Clemson to field goals. We got to score touchdowns. We get a chance in there, and I think we do that. Then the game is close, and we get the fans and Clemson on there. You know, I've been there with Rob and Dennis Wilson a few years back, and we lost by 21 points. Okay, but at a point in the game when we were lighting them up and we were leading 7-0, I believe, and I believe it was tied. We're done by halftime. It was close. You could see the fans getting a little bit worried. I mean, I had a mother and a son want to fight me, and all I was doing was cheering for my team. A mother and a son, a Clemson fan, wanted to physically assault me because I was cheering for my team. That's how stressed they were.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, they wanted to assault me. They wanted to do awful things to me, and all I was doing was simply cheering on my team, saying, "For good play, way to go, team!" You know. And apparently that was offensive to them, and they wanted to fight me. So we have to take it to Clemson and get those fans in the stand, get them kind of riled up in a way that it feeds down to their team, that energy feeds down to his team and things like that. You know, the Gamecock team that 4 years ago couldn't quite finish the deal. But this team, I think, can do it.
All right, but hold on. I mean, I forgot. Hold on, caller.
I think
our defense said to the people in the stands, if Clemson loses, don't send death threats to players. He said
I was giving them. That's a good thing to say, isn't it?
So
it's bullshit.
So me obviously following, Carolina for many years. Looking back, I look at Jordan Birch as a possibility of very similar to, I wouldn't say a Jadeveon Clowney when we were playing against Clemson, but I would say an Ingram. He was very, very similar to an Ingram.
Those guys.
Potential there.
Hey,
those guys had a little bit of nastiness about them.
Yeah, they also had balls. Right now, Birch hasn't proven that he's
Birch does
balls
too.
yet.
I mean, you can't tell me that Birch. I mean, I don't think he's been able to been.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Yeah.
I don't have. You still there? Yeah. I agree to a point. Yep. Birch needs to play well. And that's probably a good wild card pick. If Birch has a big game, I think he needs a big game for the Gamecocks to win. Now, I don't have a whole lot of faith in having a big game.
His next big game will be his first one.
Well, I listen. Well, he's 5-star, but people miss evaluation wise.
I wouldn't go that far fetched.
Yeah.
If Jordan Birch and Zach Pickens had that Cam Smith attitude,
drop your nuts
and swagger, we might be getting somewhere.
If they drop their nuts, then Clemson's in trouble. Okay.
Well, you can't say Jordan Birch. And Zach, especially Zach Pickens. You can't say Zach Pickens hasn't, been a leader on that defensive line. I mean, honestly, we haven't had good coaching on the defensive line. I mean, that's a very
as highly heralded as a recruit as Jordan Birch was when he came in there 2 years ago. We've expected him to rip some quarterback's head off by now.
Well,
I mean, I don't mean literally. Wouldn't you have expected to see that?
Well, unfortunately for Birch, he was compared to Clowney. Okay, and that's an issue. You can't compare anyone. Clowney was a freak show.
Comparing him, yeah, but you can't compare Birch to Clowney. I mean,
he was out of high school. That was the big thing. I may have compared him to Clowney as well in high school. I may have.
Recruit coming into Carolina of all time.
I may have called him Clowney 2.0 out of high school. I might have. But I mean,
well, how would you guys rate the Clemson wide receivers against the Carolina wide receivers? Would you say, I would say
they're terrible.
Josh Van, Juice Wells. I mean, I don't think it's comparable. I think Carolina, pretty much floats out of the water on the wide
Clemson's wide receivers.
Tight end as well.
They're horrible.
I will say this. I think the Gamecocks have better skill position guys than Clemson does. It kind of reminds me back, and I hate to say this, back when we were owning Clemson 5 in a row, I think Clemson had better skilled guys than we had back then. The difference was we just kicked their ass up front. And so, you had all these guys who had to pull these stats up. But I think we're better in the skill positions for sure.
Do you want to go down that road, comrade? I'll take Shipley over your entire running back room.
He's not better than Marshawn Lloyd.
Well,
he's not better than Lloyd.
He's
not better than Lloyd. The problem is Lloyd isn't healthy right now. But he's not better than Lloyd. Receivers,
Shipley act like he was the first person to hurdle somebody. That was cute.
Hill literally could take over a game if he had to with time management. I fully expect Carolina to create the time possession and basically own that possession, in that game. I could totally see that they would own that, So
caller,
it's very possible that Clemson doesn't exceed more than 4 possessions in that whole game.
Okay.
Just with clock management.
All right, caller. Hey, man, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game.
All right, thank you. You too.
All right, there you go.
Biscuit, thank you for the 20, sir. He says, Happy Turkey Day. Love this show. Tennessee fans, don't eat too much turkey and have heart attacks. Neyland can't afford to lose 2 season tickets per person. Shout out to Big Barney Ross also in the comment section with the funny. My uncle brought home a hooker for Thanksgiving dinner. She said her vagina was the lottery. You have to be lucky to get it. I said, you sure it's not because you're constantly scratching it? Then it was on.
Caller, welcome to the program.
How y'all doing?
Hello.
Good.
I'm a big Georgia fan, but I'm also a Carolina Jackpot fan, so love your channel, Jackpot.
Are you a big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, or you mean you're like big in size?
I'm a big Georgia fan, but I prefer Carolina Jackpot over Uncle Lou, so I like the channel more.
Oh,
it's
nice.
better.
Well, thank you. But you don't get what I'm saying. Are you saying you're a real that you are a huge fan of the Georgia Bulldogs, or you say you're an overweight fan?
I'm a Georgia fan, but I just like watching Carolina Jackpot,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We try.
Trying to piggyback on the Carolina game more. I saw your video about how trying to incorporate Georgia, I guess, but how Carolina used Georgia's man-to-man and just pressing them and trying to eliminate big plays, which they did for the most part. Do you think that Carolina would try to use them in Georgia's game when they play against Clemson? Because how they shut down Shipley and they just bull rush 5 or 6 on DJ Pooh and absolutely destroyed them. So I just want to get have y'all's thoughts on that, and I want to get off this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Big Barney Ross with the $20 super chat. And he said, comrade, how do you feel about South Carolina running the Wildcat offense against Clemson?
I think they will. I mean, for part like they did against Tennessee a little bit. I think they have to, especially if Marshawn Lloyd's not playing. I think if Lloyd's playing, I would rather him get the ball to Lloyd. But if Lloyd's not playing, you have to come up with ways to run the ball. So Joyner, some misdirection. I like the little end around. Get guys on the edge. Do play fakes off of that. I really want to see Joyner. I want to see them do that. Have some effect on that, and have Joyner throw one deep. I think it's one thing we haven't seen. We saw it against the Tar Heels last year. But I think that could be one of those, I think back to the days of Stephon Gilmore. Once again, Clemson fans probably don't know, remember that game. They weren't all in back then. But
they don't know that.
Stephon Gilmore came in and they were expecting the Wildcat him to run it. He did a little play action, went up top to Alshon Jeffrey. Talk about 2 NFL future studs. So I think that you could see them doing that. But I don't want them doing it early on, though. Run join a little bit, have them hand the ball off, and then at a big part of the game, have them fake it. There's a little play that Syracuse used to run back in the day with McNabb and Marvin Graves. This little option thing. They kind of faked it to the fullback, went down the line of scrimmage like doing the option, and then they would step back and throw it deep. I want to pat that play put in for this week. Little DK Joyner, step back, hit, and a little post pattern, boom, and that will quiet the crowd. It will quiet. And Nathan Medlin will be punching the walls. I mean, he'll be, sitting there and just all be had himself. So I think
seem to remember him doing that in the Gator Bowl one time.
Oh, they did all day long, the Gator Bowl.
I can't remember.
All day long. That was big. But yeah, I think for sure if Marshawn Lloyd's not playing, or if he's playing but not quite himself, I think if Lloyd plays, he's gonna be a decoy. I don't think he's even close 100%. So I think if that's the case, put Joyner in there a few times, get him in there. Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Jackpot. What you got?
Big Barney Ross, thank you for the super chat. It says, Comrade, how do you feel about South Carolina running the Wildcat offense against Clemson?
Yeah, we talked about that, but I want to address what Billy was saying over there in the chat room about did I have concerns for Saturday? No.
Yeah, don't lie. Stop lying.
Yeah,
I'm lying.
You're lying.
Look, it's very simple. Okay, when you can control the line of scrimmage, you're going to win games. It's simple as that. The Clemson defensive line will live in the Gamecock backfield. And it's going to be like the Florida matchup where
the thing about it is with Clemson's kind of their defense, they kind of get out of position sometimes. I've noticed that they over pursue a little bit, seem to be a little bit over eager, especially with this Goodwin guy. I don't know about him, not sold on him at all, but he seems to be real excitable, and I don't know, he doesn't seem to have that defense too well grounded. I don't know if you've seen any of that happen. What's your comment on that?
I think the defense is going to be fine. The only
thing
that
they're fine. They're fine.
They're fine. Just fine. They'll have to be a spine for this game. So, but in reality, the only thing I'm worried about this game is making sure no one's hurt, so that for championship week the next week. It's like a JV game before the championship game. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
Good evening, Rob. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. How are you?
Good. Jackpot.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Cool question for you, Rob.
Sure.
I hear all the time these past couple of days of with the Tennessee game. Everybody talks about, Tennessee doesn't have a defense, this, and that. However, they had going into the game the number one total offense in the whole nation.
Sure.
And Carolina's defense limited them. So, how do you think that Clemson's number 40 ranked offense is going to fare against a motivated Carolina
team? Opportunistic defense.
That's right. Valid point. Valid question, Rob Sanders.
Well, did the Gamecocks actually hold them in check? Let's look at the team stats for that game. Tennessee went for 507 yards. Is that really holding them in check?
It's called bend, not break.
That's right. Didn't break. Bend, not break.
The reason that South Carolina won the game is because they scored 9 touchdowns on that piss poor debacle of a defense that Tennessee has.
Yeah, but if our defense was so bad, why didn't we give up 9 touchdowns?
Valid question.
I mean, we had equal possessions. I mean, it's not like we kicked off to ourselves.
You gave up 9 touchdowns, or they gave up 9 touchdowns, Jackpot. There's a big difference.
But how
they had possessions too.
Okay. Sure. Look, this is one of those things where I could sit here and I could try to entertain and talk about, oh, well, South Carolina this and South Carolina that. You don't have a fucking chance in hell. It's just the way that it is. I don't want to rub your nose in it.
Ridiculous.
I
Are you
like
saying
you guys.
there's zero damn chance? That's what Jeremy McClure says. Zero damn chance.
You almost lost to the Fruit.
We didn't though. And by the way, the Fruit would probably beat you. So don't run your mouth about.
I don't even think that. Okay.
I don't think you.
You should have lost Syracuse. Should have lost to Wake. Should have lost to FSU.
The Fruit has lost.
Lost to Mizzou. Okay.
You lost to a backup quarterback in Notre
Mizzou's
Dame.
a good team.
Fucking okay. They're a good
Lost to
team.
Notre Dame's
Mizzou's
backup quarterback.
They're quality team.
Sure. You don't have a chance,
Well,
my friend. Sorry. I don't want to rub your
Thank
nose
you,
in it.
gentlemen, for the phone call.
Appreciate it.
I mean, all right, thanks.
I have a question for Rob and for Clemson fans who are in here. Here's my question. And be honest. Would you rather Clemson be left out of the playoffs? Let's just say you beat us and beat the Tar Heels, but be left out of the playoffs. That way you and Dabo can opine about the SEC's against us. We belong. Okay. And then you can do a pretty good bowl game and win the bowl game. You can still say, I think we belong, instead of getting in the playoffs and having Georgia beat you 54-0 and then looking like a fool. Would you rather just because you're not being Georgia as a 4 seed?
If you follow along with the program, you would know that I said that Clemson is not a playoff team. If they get into the playoffs, it's going to be because everyone else sucks an asshole. I mean, I think that there's Georgia and then there's everybody else. It doesn't really matter who's 2, 3, or 4. So I want to go to the playoffs because, hey, you want to have an opportunity there. But this isn't a playoff team. It's not. So it's just
But
the way
will Dabo act like they are, though? Will Dabo complain? He knows how to complain.
He knows how to complain, but I
don't know why we're not in. I mean,
who knows at this point? I'm not going to try to speak for Dabo Sweeney. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, Rob, you remember me?
I don't remember you.
Well, I think you do if I bring up my Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're the Hurricanes fan that said that we're going to come and beat us.
Now I did. Now listen, you got to give me credit. I called back. Okay, you got to give me credit. I did call back. We got our ass whooped because of Dabo Swinney's devil magic on the sidelines, his antics, summoning demons or whatever, getting into our lineman's head and whatnot. That's the only reason why you won that game. Congratulations to Clemson and their trickery with Lucifer. But you are not a legitimate program. I'm calling you just to let you know that because Dabo is in cahoots with Satan.
I mean, he's right.
And you say the same things to my face when I'm standing in front of you that you want to say to my answer machine. If not, then lose my number, motherfucker, because you're pissing me off.
Thank you for calling the program.
What you have to do one of the things you can do to knock Clemson off, and not a lot of people know this, you got to get to them. You got to run some trick plays kind of behind the back when they're having choir practice, and it works. It works.
Look,
that's how Notre Dame got them.
Let me make sure that we put this out there too. Comrade won't be here Sunday if the Clemson Tigers lose. He'll be under a rock and trying to, I don't know, build better people, whatever the fuck it is he does now. I know that Jackpot will be here, and what Jackpot will say is that it was nothing that Clemson did. It was South Carolina shot themselves in the foot, and that's why they gave up 45 points. And they're going to fix this because Rattler's going to leave, and they're going to get a new offensive coordinator, and you guys wait till next year. So there you go. That's the program on Sunday is Comrade not here and Kale bringing up those same things over and over and over again. That's why I don't like rubbing it in their noses in it. I really don't. It's not fun anymore. It's really not. The best thing that could happen for this rivalry is for South Carolina to win a game. But I'm on the I did say the last 3 games they would cover the spread. They're 2 for 2 so far. They'll pick up the 3rd one here this week. And the decade of dicking will continue. Just the way
Brandon Kuhn says Brett McMurphy has South Carolina playing Notre Dame in the Gator Bowl. Jackpot. How upset would that make Clemson fans if South Carolina goes out and drops their nuts and drags them all over leprechaun ass.
Well, even funnier too is that the Clemson may play Tennessee in a bowl game. Can you imagine Tennessee destroying Clemson in the bowl game, and we'd be Notre Dame? I mean, that would be just kind of
Oh,
Joe
Lord.
Milton.
I hope they run it up.
Tennessee's not that good. Caller, what you got?
Hey, how's it going? Evening, Tater Man. Evening, Jackpot. Evening, other man. I don't really know who you are, but I just have a few things to say. So, Jackpot, this is kind of random, but the last caller made me think of it, and you said something in one of your videos the other day, basically, like whatever happened, and not that I'm this great person, but whatever happened to just being like, you know what, we lost, we suck, we got to play better.
Yeah, but hold
And
on.
we should get back to that.
Did you catch Jackpot's lineup right after that? Because I laughed really hard. He said, "You probably come at me and say, well, Jackpot, when Will Shipley ran for 150 yards, you said, oh, that had nothing to do with him. That was just because of all those broken tackles." Which is what.
Well, yeah, Jackpot just hates Will Shipley. We all know that.
I was sitting here and I was laughing. I was like, didn't you just say, why couldn't it be we just lost? No. Fuck Will Shipley. Jackpot's got to get that in there. Holy shit.
No, I feel it. And the other thing
Well, it's all CYA. Cover your ass.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what do you got?
But
Go ahead.
I think, Rob, 12-1 Tater champion. I mean, I know there's the whole playoff shuffle coming, but I think, look, the ACC isn't great this year, but I think it's being disrespected. I don't see how a 12-1 Tater doesn't get in, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well,
see y'all.
We'll talk about that when all that gets here. Get through this game, make sure nobody gets hurt, and then beat this North Carolina team that fucking shit the bed last week against Georgia Tech. I don't know how that happened. So,
Diego's coffin says Clemson lost to the worst Notre Dame team in a decade. But people tend to forget. I think it was like 2018. Didn't Notre Dame go like 4-8? They had a really bad year, and plus the team Clemson lost to is not the one that lost to Marshall, and they had gotten the shit together a little bit by that time. So, kind of disagree. They're a pretty good team. Although I mean, it was funny watching Clemson lose to them. Don't get it twisted.
The reason that it's funny is because Clemson doesn't lose very often. They don't.
Yeah.
So,
can't argue with that.
All right. Well, final call for call 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. I personally think that if Clemson goes 12-1, depending on what happens ahead of them, I think that there's a shot for them to be the number 4 team, but I don't think that being number 4 this year is like being number 8 last year, in my opinion, which is the way the teams are set up. But that's just me. So, all right. Well, there you go. I don't think do we have anything else you guys want to go over? Comrade says he's done. Jackpot, what else you got, buddy?
I'm just reading some of the comments here. Hover Billy Paul says Clemson ain't no Tennessee. You will see. Rattler may not make it to the second half. Hover Billy Paul's been uncharacteristically chesty over here tonight in the comment section. I've been noticing. Looks like a lot of confidence exuding there. Why would he not make it to the second half? We're
I do want
they're planning
address.
on knocking him out, or he's going to play so bad they're not going to put him in there, brother. I don't see that happening. That's kind of far fetched.
Somebody asked earlier, if Clemson loses at home, do the fans still meet at the Paw? And I would like to address that. What happens? Okay, they do meet at the Paw. I've been there before when we've beaten Clemson in Death Valley, and what happens is they let everyone go on the field. And so Gamecock fans go on the field during this time and have some fun. So long story, this is back in, I believe it was 94. I forgot now. But we're kicking their ass. And this lady who's sitting next to me, her husband's got the headphones on, listening to the radio, Tater radio, like oblivious what's going on. And the whole game long, she's like taking her pom-pom and shoving it in my face whenever Clemson does anything well. A real gem. Anyway, so as the game was getting out of hand, she starts packing up her stuff to leave. And me being a wise ass, I'm only, youngster at this point. I said, ma'am, you should stay. We're going to have a party down in the field afterwards. And she looked at me and my friend and says, you boys best get yourselves back to Columbia and don't you dare go on that field. So we go on the field, and my best friend, who grew up a Gamecock fan since birth, took the souvenir cup that he had his Diet Coke in, whatever it was, and fills it up with Clemson turf. Okay? He still has it. And the cop down there came up to him and says, boy, do you do that to your front yard? Like all mad and, all this stuff there too. So what happens is they do meet at the Paul, but it's Gamecock fans down there mostly having a good time when they lose. So that's kind of what happened. I think Clemson fans kind of leave because it's just kind of, So that's what makes it great about beating them there, is because they have that tradition, and you can go on the field and just party in the field and mock them. And so I won't be there on Saturday. But if they do win, I'm gonna know that there'll be some young Gamecock fans like myself back in the day on the field, enjoying it, taking the grass home, and laughing at taters all the way. So it'll be a good time if that happens.
That was way back in the day when they had the old scoreboard that had that that sickly looking tiger.
Yeah.
Remember at the top of it, like kind of in the middle, it looked like he had rabies or something. You remember that?
Yeah, I do recall something like that, but yeah.
I wonder who has that tiger now.
Yeah, but
I bet it's at Danny Ford's house.
I tell you, driving up there, it's an experience. Oh my Lord, it takes like 8 hours to get up there. It seems like it's like a time machine. You're driving back to 1947.
Well, it's really like being in a time warp.
It is. It's
honestly
really like cell phones don't work up there. Like it really is. It's like, you got to park in a cow pasture. I mean, it's unreal.
It's awful. I mean, it's like it's welcome back to 1979.
So I've been there. I've been there 5 times, I believe.
Right.
I swore I'd never go back after the push-off play. I swore I'd never go there again. But Dennis and Rob forced me to go 4 years ago against my will. Held me at gunpoint to force me to go. And so I broke my promise, but I have no desire to go back there. Never again.
That's because you end up generally with a loss, but that's all right.
We've done pretty well when I go up there. Actually, we actually play pretty well. I probably should go up there just because I think they need me up there for the win, just for my support.
Well, Clemson has more wins in the series in Columbia than South Carolina does overall in the series. So there's that. I mean, Williams-Brice is technically ours too. So yeah, I know that fact hurts a lot of feelings. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, gentlemen.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy yourself over the weekend. Jackpot's got a stream with the Mizzou game on Friday. And then are you being objective Saturday? Or are you going to be on with the Gamecocks Saturday, Jackpot? I know you said you were going to be objective before. Which way are you going to go? Because you know what's coming.
I think I answered that question Saturday night, didn't I?
All right. Just wanted to make sure it was there. All right. Brock says it's nice to see you. And by the way, thank the comrade for coming on. I mean,
he's fun, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was nice having the comrade here tonight.
All right. Appreciate it. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you later.